I think it starts on LinkedIn. Like, ironically enough, I still have far and away my biggest following on Twitter, but I'm kind of fatigued by the everything is political movement, right? I don't care who you voted for. I just care how you treat other people and me. So, I did this video with this girl, and I'm like, hey, LinkedIn friends, meet Maria. She's wanting to build tribe. She's really interested in this. If that,
This is Scratch Your Own Itch, the one show that delivers the conversations that we're afraid to share, but need to. This show is all about creating a life worth living. I'm Logan Tyler Nelson, and I'm your host. So, you're going to hear conversations with creators and entrepreneurs talk about what they do, their current and past traumas, how they became who they are, and what they are truly curious about. This is the show where we talk about the things we think about a lot, but need to talk about more. Please take note that this show is not a substitute for actually creating a life worth living, because this show will stir your beliefs, make you question what it means to create a life worth living. So my promise to you is to always give you one question to answer for yourself today to start turning your dreams into a reality. Hey folks, just wanted to really quickly tell you that the audio quality is not that good in this podcast. And there's, in my opinion, a bunch of mess ups. But I'm not going to edit it. I'm not going to get a different mic because my mic's currently broken. The thing is, I want to really have you scratch your own itch. And this is why I'm doing this episode like this. Where there's people around us, there's people around Don. Don's in an airport right now. And it just goes to show you that you can scratch your own itch, but you don't need to be perfect like the people that inspired you to scratch your own itch. So maybe there's a business idea that you keep going, I gotta do this first before I actually do this. Or I need to do this first before I do that. I want you to scratch your own itch for 15 minutes when you first wake up, whether it be making a podcast, whether it be making a YouTube channel, whether it be gaining more followers on LinkedIn or followers on Twitter or Instagram or whatever may have you. Because I know that it'll change your life. I know the networks that you will tap into. I know the amount of happiness that it'll bring you is beyond what any paycheck could bring you. So, please, without further ado, enjoy this interview with Don Wettrick and myself. Hey, ladies and gents. So, first of all, we're doing this podcast off of our microphones. Don's got his microphone. I got my headset. And I just want to provide you with the wisdom of it doesn't need to be perfect. What matters is sometimes it just needs to be published. I have Don Wettrick here with me. And if you're wondering who Don is, you're in for a treat, because Don is an innovative coordinator at Noblevilles High School. And he's also the author of A Pure Genius, Building a Culture of Innovation and Taking 20% Time to the Next Level. Don has worked his way in middle school and high school, and he continues to be an absolute influence for not only kids that are coming up, but also people that are in their later years going, what the heck do I do with my life? What the heck do I do with my time?
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. And so I'm excited to share him on the show with you guys. But my first question for you, Don, is what's the one message that you've kind of learned a lot about yourself as well as kids through the work that you do?
Yeah, I mean, that, the opportunities are everywhere. A lot of people are complaining. The people that do win. And, like right now we're talking a lot about, and I, ironically enough, I just got out of the conference, thus I'm in the airport. Hope it's not too loud, but, we're creating seekers and peakers, not moaners and groaners. And basically seekers and peakers do this. They seek opportunity. They hear everybody else complain, and they know that there's a solution somewhere, and that's a pot of gold. Peakers congregate. Peakers are those group of seekers that they can peek around the corner. They see what's next. And we've had a lot of success with our students because, again, successful, vibrant people hang around successful, vibrant people. And then you share information and you start talking about, I think this is going to be big, or what do you think of that? And then they become peakers. And that is an infectious people to be around. They're not complaining. They're usually happier. They're driven, and they want to make a difference. Meanwhile, right now, on Twitter and Facebook, people are complaining about something. And that's fine if they want to do that. But I want my students, I want my own children, I want me to be a seeker, not a complainer.
Dude, man, I can't express how happy I am and how big of a smile I have on my face right now.
That's awesome.
Because, to me, it's really the thing that I think is, because I'm a mental health advocate for sure. And so,
Right.
The thing is, I know the overall thing that drives depression is not feeling like they're heard. And now we live in a storm of people that are trying to just get heard. And unfortunately, they got to take some pivots in life, for example, or make some choices in life that they're doing because they see everyone else doing it instead of really wanting themselves to do it. So my next question for you is, Don, what desires do you feel like you're doing for yourself right now versus other people?
I mean, what I'm doing for myself is helping other people. I think that's the why I have a cool job. I'm a teacher, but I also, I'm an educator, writer, and speaker, and so I enjoy literally helping people help themselves, getting people out of the mindset of everything is stacked against you, getting the people out of the mindset that there's opportunities everywhere. And that's why I love my job because that has become my job. And there's just nothing better than to see. Ironically enough, I just posted a video. Girl had gone to my session. She's like, "Okay, I want to build that tribe. Where do I start?" And I said, "Well, personally, I think it starts on LinkedIn." Ironically enough, I still have far and away my biggest following on Twitter, but I'm kind of fatigued by the everything is political movement, right? I don't care who you voted for. I just care how you treat other people and me. So, I did this video with this girl and I'm like, hey, LinkedIn friends, meet Maria. She's wanting to build tribe. She's really interested in this. If that, if that interests you, give her a follow, give her some advice. If not, have a great day. That kind of stuff and watching people genuinely help each other. Now, that being said, I mean, there's a lot of people that are just flat out old school networking of, here's 1,000 business cards and maybe 2 people will help me. But I see a lot of people on LinkedIn genuinely providing value with each other. And that's just fun to watch.
Man, I know. I go on LinkedIn and I feel so lucky just to be mentioned on other people's posts or hey, Logan, check this out. Or, when I actually post something, someone actually gives, instead of just a like to it or just a cool post, dude. And then all of a sudden they actually give a nice, in-depth sort of I mean, they really thought about this post and actually took the time to compliment or comment on it. And it's great. So I'm there with you, man, on LinkedIn. I'm a huge fan. And it kind of leads me to my next question, which is, if you could give yourself just one piece of advice, what would it be?
I'd have to say, just try things, do things, be of value to people first. I'm actually going to give credit to my daughter on this one. I have 3 children. My other 2 are a little bit young for LinkedIn right now, but my 17-year-old I gotta give her props on this. For about a year, Ava got on and asked for nothing. She peeked in, saw some people she liked, some people she looked up to. Got to give full credit. She introduced me to a guy named Kurt Mercadante, Quentin Allums. These like Finn Thormeyer, these like super nice younger people. And she was like, "Oh, I just love your stuff." Never asked for a thing. A year later, she's like, "Okay, I started my own podcast. If you want to support it," and it got supported because she was a helpful first. So if you're a teenager, heck, if you're 25, heck, if you're 35. Play the I'm going to be helpful to other people, and that good karma will come back to you. Just period. However, if you're in this huge hurry, it's tough. It's tough. People smell through that. Like right now, you're in a crowded room where everybody wants their business card taken, right? So if you're young, be helpful. Find a mentor. Say, I want to be like you. I want to support things like I want to be you in 5 years. That kind of thing. Shamelessly letting people know that you want to work and learn, you will jump to the front of the line so fast in life, it's not funny.
Dude, I love that answer. The reason why I actually asked that question is because it's oftentimes the best advice we're giving out to people happens to be the advice that we need to drink ourselves. But you straight up were even like, it's weird because I'll say, the advice I gave to my daughter, and your daughter's actually teaching you things, so it's amazing.
On actual video views, she's killing me. She's destroying me. Yeah. She's and it's kind of funny because Dad is the one with the blue check mark on Twitter, and it doesn't mean jack on LinkedIn. She's killing me here lately. It's funny.
Hey, it's not a competition, Don. Come on now, man.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of that first time you beat your dad at wrestling is that moment you're like, wait, I'm better than my dad kind of moment. I think Ava's got this satisfaction of, I've been crushing my dad on it. But, again, I'm happy for her. There's no competition. I'm proud.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I think it's such a cool relationship you guys have. So the next few questions are kind of like 30 seconds or less type answers. So
sure.
I'm going to challenge you, man.
Let's go.
All right, so in your opinion, what is the key to happiness nowadays?
Quick answer, but I took one of my best classes when I was in college, and it was a marriage class. And the professor came in, first day of class, first thing he ever said, he put down his briefcase, looked at everybody and said, "No one will ever love you until you love and respect yourself." He says people might want to possess you. People might want to take advantage of you. People might want to have you do their bidding, but no one will love you until you love yourself. Respecting yourself and knowing that you're created for a great purpose is the key to happiness and, honestly, success and love afterwards.
Man, I love that, dude. That's just, yeah, you nailed it. You just hit a grand slam with that answer. Nowhere else I would want to make it any different. So I want to ask you, though, what's your favorite quote and why?
What's my favorite what?
Quote. And
oh,
why?
My gosh. What is my favorite? What is my favorite quote? What is my favorite quote? There's too many. There's some by Thoreau that I dig. There's some by, you know what? I'll just go with the simplest one. Either it's Everything as It Should Be, by His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, or the same person, he said, man confuses me because he sacrifices his health in pursuit of money and then has to sacrifice his money to recoup his health, having never lived in the present. Basically, and I'm butchering this quote, but basically having never lived in the present because he's either worried about the past or worried about where he's going in the future, resulting in you not really living. I'm really butchering that quote, but that's the gist of it. But it's just that whole focus on you in the present moment and you being able to embrace your happiness right now just is everything to me.
That's awesome, man. I love it. That's a great
So
quote.
people right now are fact checking that quote and they're like, wow, he just really butchered that. But that's the gist of it.
Well, like I said at the very beginning, it's not about perfection. It's about publish. It's about getting it out there, and so many, I get messages all day like, hey, I want to start a podcast, or, I want to be on other shows. And I'm like, just get on one show, or just publish one episode, and don't worry about making it sound so perfect. Which, I could go into a rant about that, but this is supposed to be my, quick, quick round where, but we said it basically. It's just about publishing, not perfection. But I want to get into more specific questions with you, Don, because I've researched some of your work, and I'm like, man, I gotta. The show's called Scratch Your Own Edge. I really had to ask Don this question because I just think it really will resonate with him. So this question's a little bit bigger. What, Don, is it that you most struggle with in your own business right now?
I think the struggle of trying to be the best father and husband I can be, and trying to answer the calls of working with other schools, and I'm running a nonprofit now, and I still think my first priority and my first love is Alicia and Ava, Anna, and Grant. So there are times where heck, like here I'm sitting here talking into an airport right now because this is about all the time I have. So I struggle with that. But that's the one nice thing is that I don't do as many visits now. I'm growing the nonprofit more in a local sector, and I don't know, I'll right the ship. But even when I travel, it's usually 28-hour kind of travel kind of thing down and back. But I do get kind of sensitive about it. I want to be there as a present father and a loving husband. So, but nothing's perfect. But yeah, that's what I struggle with the most at times.
Don, thanks, man, for just saying that. It's not easy to be vulnerable, and I know you have a lot of people that look up to you, and I know for a fact that whenever someone that is looked up to, that's a hero, that takes off their cape and puts it on someone else, really, like, that's what you just did. And man, my heart goes out to you, because I know how hard it is to manage time, especially when you're super busy. It's like, they say.
Well, and don't let the heart go out. I mean, this is my choice, and quite frankly, I do a pretty darn good job. I limit my travels to maybe twice a month, maybe. And again, I try to, like, case in point, I left yesterday at 5 p.m. and I'm going to be back the next day at 10 p.m. So what, 29-hour trip. So it's not awful. I still have guilt over it, but it's not awful.
I love it, man. I really do. Wow.
Well, I mean, dear God, there's kids out there right now that have their dads deployed, serving the country, and I mean, there's a lot worse places. So I'm grateful that when I do travel, it's for joy, and so yeah, all in perspective.
100%, man. Gratefulness and anxious feelings, and feeling like you're just completely doomed for life. Being grateful and feeling like you're doomed for life cannot live in the same place. So what you just did exercised to me that you just pretty much go, hey, like, there are worser things out there. There are worser things, and so I'm grateful for this. But Don, I think we've done a really good job with providing some people with some places to really just think and cultivate. And I think you gave a blueprint really to happiness as a younger kid, and where you know that there's a lot of pressure on you, but to know that as long as you just take yourself out of the rat race, there's no pressure. But I want to give out some places that you could go if you wanted more of Don. So if you wanted to visit more Don, where could they find you?
Yeah, ironically enough, I mean, here lately, LinkedIn's been my go-to, but startedupfoundation.org is my nonprofit. Podcast, which is kind of still my baby. Start Ed Up, all one word, as in like we treat education like a startup. Start it up. You can at iTunes, Stitcher, etc. And you're the Twitter type. I'm fairly active. Oh.
That's awesome. So check this out. You might have been listening to that and you want to try to write it down or whatever, but this is super simple. All you have to do is take a click of the finger, and it's gonna take you right to Mr. Don Wettrick's LinkedIn profile. And I hated the way I said that, so
No.
It's gonna
If you're
take
really
you
bored, yeah, you can also even check out the book. You mentioned it at the top of the podcast, and you want to dive deep into that. It was the journey of our first 2 years of this crazy innovation class. But no matter what, I mean, people that I'm always flattered that people reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever, and I always get back because I value the people's insights and feedback that they can provide to my students.
So, listen closely, guys. Anyone that took time out of their day to listen to this, I appreciate you. You're listening to this for a reason right now. And I want you to know that Don Wettrick is someone that you need to follow and network with, because he's doing something where, unfortunately, a lot of educational systems early on are not teaching. He's teaching mindfulness. He's teaching kids how to be really, really incredibly wise at such a young age. And, I mean, just seeing the videos and the contents of what he's done already, like, please follow him and support. So, again, you matter, you're enough. Hit the subscribe button if you like this show at all. Thank you so much, guys. And if Don has anything more else to say? Don?
Yeah, sorry. I thought I dropped out. No, Logan, I'm so, first of all, thanks for reaching out to me, and hope the audio quality is okay. And I appreciate you doing this podcast with me, and, saying all these things back at you, man. You're making a difference. You're taking your time to produce and, trying to give people some insights. So kudos to what you're doing, man. I really dig it.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
There'll be girls across the nation that'll eat this up. They don't know that it's your soul, but could you bottle it up? Get down to the heart of it. No, it's my heart. Your shit out of your luck. Don't make me tell you again. Woo! Love, love, love. Hey. Love, 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 love.
Oh, wow. You made it to the very end of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Scratch Your Own Itch with your host, Logan Tyler Nelson. To make it to the end? Gosh, that doesn't happen very much nowadays. I mean, especially with the constant distraction. So, I appreciate all of the efforts that you just took out of your day to make it to the end. And if you hit that subscribe button and leave a review, you would have no idea what that would mean to me. So thank you so much for taking the time to hit that subscribe button. And if you leave a review, check it out. Just screenshot it, send it to me, and I'd love to host your review out on the show. But don't ever forget, like I say, you matter and you're enough.
Love is the main reason for how all this happened. Love for all my fans, love for all the shows. Got love for all my memories, no matter where I go. Even if I'm out to nothing, I know there's always something. It's not a fitness test, but it'll always